Dungeons are one of the most common tropes in fantasy fiction. They are prevalent in dozens of stories, worlds, and lores. The first examples of dungeons were introduced by TTRPGs such as Dungeons & Dragons, which even has dungeon in the title. They continued gaining popularity as a game mechanic throughout the decades. Today, dungeons can be found in every corner of media, even outside of fantasy. I always loved a good dungeon, and I wanted to make sure I included them in my own world building. As I did, I began to expand on the idea further and tried fleshing out the dungeon mechanics beyond the usual tropes, to include more to add to the lore. My world evolved to start revolving around dungeons, and after quite a few rewrites and retcons, I reached the point where the setting is today. Welcome, I'm Puppet, and today I'll be introducing you to the world of Delve and one of the key foundations of the setting, dungeon crawls and dungeon explorers, known as Delvers, as well as how dungeons interact with the setting around them. So, without delay, let's get into it. The Delve settings focuses on the planet of Driss, the smallest of the twin planets. Driss is an oxygen-rich world with a varied climate, like our own Earth. Been inhabited for millennia, but the origin of life's existence is shrouded in mystery, left to be told by prophets and storytellers who weave the tales of life, and attribute the fragile existence of the world to their many gods. The planet's history can be divided into time periods. Each time period is dedicated to when a civilization flourished, and when they went extinct. But the present-day races are merely the latest in a lengthy line of cultures that walk the globe. The ancients built great empires in their time, monuments to their work. Great cities, temples of old gods and worship. The knowledge and progress of some of these ancient civilizations surpassed that of even the present day. And in the end of the nation's time on Driss, these works eventually surpassed their own creators. When the ancients died out, their legacy remained. The last cities were buried below the surface, forgotten and lost to the time, hidden away from the elements. Thousands of ruins still lie below the surface of the world in the present day. Moving forward in time, we look to the present time period of Driss, marked as the Era's period of Auriel Vartium. The days of humankind's expanse as the prominent race in the Western world. People began delving into ancient sites and cities in the fourth era of Auriel Vartium, when that era's people began to uncover the many ruins below their feet. They found the ruins were laden with treasure from a bygone era, but also with traps and cave monsters as well. Too many hazards for the common folk to go down into, but a simple job for trained mercenaries and explorers. Collectors and early scholars would hire mercenaries to loot the dungeons or find artifacts, and soon adventurers were specializing in ruin exploration for hire. And thus began the early beginnings of the Delver's trade. As delving started to become a popular profession and more people began delving, more loot was being traded and sold onto the market, and delvers were getting rich off the profit. It became clear on the world scale as a growing profit that was unexploited by the governance of the Western nations, and an unmanaged gold influx in the hand of the common folk. The topic reached the ears of courts and council halls, and they took action. The solution was the formation of the Unified Delvers Authority, something that they could keep tabs on, which led to the implementation of the first Delvers Guild. Founded in Cambroa under the authority of the Caldor Kingdoms in the late 4th era, the Guild's authority stretched across all ends of Cambroa. Any delving site within the borders would quickly be placed under the Guild's authority and be officially instated as a Guild-managed delve. Guild-managed delves would only be accessible to those working under the Guild. Other nations followed suit, and soon there was a Delvers Guild in nearly every kingdom and country in the Western world. In the year 213, 5th era of Auriel Vartium, the present day of the delve setting, the delving trade has expanded far across the globe, across the sea onto the island nations. The various governing guilds managing the trade. With the renewed interest of history in the world and sciences, delving has come to involve not only the pursuit of wealth, but the pursuit of knowledge from within the deepest realms of the world as well. Political tensions and differences between guilds mark the 5th era environment as a sophisticated but turbulent times. The rules are changing, and so is the life of a delver. You wake up in your tent on your worn bedroll, woken by the sun's gaze peeking through the hole in your tent's canvas. Outside lies the makeshift camp you set hastily the night before. You get up and leave your shelter and take in your surroundings. You find yourself surrounded by mountain spires and timber walls. The night had only revealed the mountains' shadows flanking the night sky, but now the morning sun reveals their true glory. Resplendent spires were illuminated in day glow. A thick mess of woodland coats their base with rich greenery. Your campsite lies inside an old tree wall, a ways from the old trail you entered by. The morning would be all but silent, if not for the sound of the wind blowing through the brush and the crows' squalor amongst the various birds' song. You know it's only you out here, alone in the deep mountains, just you trying to survive through another night. You are a delver, You live the greater parts of your life in solitude, out in the wilderness, or deep below the surface of Driss in the delves. The only company you may find here would see you as food rather than friend, so better be at solitude. You live alone, and you die alone. That is the lot of a delver. A delver's life is not for the faint of heart. The profession requires them to be on the move throughout their entire life, traveling from one delve to the next, looking for that next score that will help pay off their guild dues that year. Delvers must brave the wilderness above ground and fend off the many threats along the way. Delvers usually work alone, with the little company. Though some group together into parties and increase their odds of survival, they also must share the loot. So most simply travel alone, with one companion or none. A delver is just as likely to die out in the wilderness as they would be dying in the delve. The high-risk nature of delving deters most from taking up the profession, and on top of the risk, delvers have to keep in mind the unstable flow of coin. Pay is determined by the haul of loot they recover from a delve alone. The loot is weighed and divided out accordingly by the guild at that delve, taxed appropriately by the government standard. A modest haul will usually pay a delver's way, while a small haul means a few days of starvation. All pay is varied by guild rates and tax. Working for a different guild in another country may make all the difference. Some delvers work 2 jobs as a traveling craftsman or as mercenaries to make ends meet. Staying unmarried and alone is usually the only choice you get so you can survive this rough life. At the end of a delver's travels lies a delve, the lifeblood of the trade. Delves range from quick job sites to permanent settlements with large networks of catacombs and tunnels below. Permanent delves are usually accompanied by services and housing for the permanent residents around the perimeter of the delve entrance. The guild manages the ruins and provides safety by supporting unstable tunnels and crossing hazards inside. Craftsmen and workers are employed to maintain the delve. A variety of shops, taverns, and even inns can be found in larger delve towns as well. One essential part of a delve's autonomy found in every delve town is the guild charter, where they manage the delve organization and loot management on the day-to-day basis. Delvers turn in their spoils from within a delve at a guild charter to receive their pay. Once a delve is fully looted and isn't needed for research, the delve will close. Sometimes even stay populated after a delve closes, while most simply get abandoned and become ghost towns. A guild delve is still dangerous, especially new delves that have yet to be fully scouted out. The guild employs scouting teams to try and map a delve before it's open, but new rooms and hidden dangers always appear during the delve's tenure. A delver should never let his guard down. Traps, monsters, underground gases, chasms, and even a malicious fellow delver can end your life down below. Caution, wariness, and a good bit of wisdom are key to surviving the delver's life. In the world of Delve, the dungeon is a pillar of the setting's lore foundations, the rift between the peaceful civilized surface world and the violent underground world below. As we continue with this series, we will explore more aspects in world lore, focused both on delving and other parts of the world building, such as the various cultures, their politics, the biomes and ecosystems that thrive on Driss, and much more. But for now, we close with delves. Hopefully, this video gave you insight on their life and a tone of the setting. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and a comment. I would love to share more worlds with y'all in the future, and I plan to make more videos for Delve as well. But for now, I thank you for sticking with me. Until next time.